Hey everyone, this is a quick video to review a little bit about how to determine which type of triad something is. So if you remember from the reading, a triad is made up of three pitches, and when we stack these pitches one on top of each other into two-thirds, the result is a root position triad. Okay, so for root position triads, they are always going to be three notes either all on a line or all on spaces, because spaces and lines each type, if you have notes on lines, they're always going to be a third away from each other, and same thing for notes on spaces, always going to be a third away from each other. A sample triad here, we have G major. Let me just pull it back here, G major. Okay, so I have a G major triad here. Again, you can see that the notes are highlighted in the keyboard for reference. The notes of G, B, and D, it's a root position triad because all three notes are a third away from each other. Okay, and in this position, we will call the bottom note the root, the middle note the third, and the top note the fifth. Okay, and whether or not, when you have these three notes G, B, and D, even if they're not in root position, and we'll talk about inversions a little bit later, we will always refer to these three members of the triad by these names. So let's say you have, for some reason, you have a D that's below for this inverted kind of a G major triad. That D will still be the fifth of the triad, and the G will always be the root, and the B will always be the third. Okay. Onwards to the four different types. Sorry, the four different types of triads. There are major, minor, diminished, and augmented. The major triad, and each of these types of triads are described by the two-thirds. Okay, we're looking at the interval from the root to the third, and also the interval from the third to the fifth. Those two pieces of information allow us to determine which kind of triad it is. Of course, they all have different sounds, and I encourage you to play these on your instruments or on the piano, or sing them just to get familiar with what the sound is. Okay, this is a G major triad, and for major triads, the bottom third from root to third is always going to be a major third from G to B here, and you can see on the keyboard it's a major third, and if you're counting half steps, it's 4 half steps, 1, 2, 3, and 4. From the third to the fifth is a minor third, from B to D, minor third, and if you're counting the half steps here, it's 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3. Okay. To make this major triad minor, we're going to take the third and we're going to lower it. In this case, it'll be a B flat, right? And that, of course, changes the relationship between the two sets of thirds. Before, we had major third on the bottom, minor third on top, and now it flips it. Now we have a minor third on the bottom and the major third on top. Okay, so the minor third is between G and B flat, and the major third is between B flat and D. To make this triad diminished, you can lower the fifth from here. So starting with the minor triad, you're going to lower the fifth. In this case, a D flat. Okay, and now we have two minor thirds. From G to B flat still is a minor third from our minor triad example, and then from the third to the fifth is now also a minor third from B flat to D flat. Right? And you can see on the keyboard, and you can count the half steps if that's also useful. And the last type of triad is an augmented triad, and the augmented triad has two major thirds. So it's like the diminished, but only instead of using minor thirds, we're now using two major thirds. So to get there, I will start with our major triad again. So this is our major G major triad. To make this augmented, I simply take the D and raise it 1 half step. Okay, so now instead of what I had for the major triad, which is this is a major, right? We had a major third on the bottom, a minor third on top. I'm raising the D to the D sharp. Now I have an augmented triad, G, B, and D sharp. Again, I encourage you to listen to these chords, play these on your guitar, on the keyboard, whatever you have access to, and actually listen to this stuff. And when you're working on musician, also remember to click on your answers to hear the sound, because I think that's going to be important for you to just associate these sounds of these chords with their types. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, and good luck practicing on your chords.